It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Katafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio today. Sue Rutherford from Arizona Crisis Team contacted me. Hello, Sue.
Hi there.
Welcome back. And when you do that each year, I always appreciate that. And I want to put the word out to other 501c3s. If you ever need help with something, do like Sue does. She emails Paul David at news@myradioplace.com, and she says, "Hey, Paul, I want to come in and talk about the Arizona Crisis Team."
Yes.
And then I put her in for a show. So if you're a 501c3 and you want to get the word about your group out, email me. Give us a call here at 634-2286, and we can set you up, and we can do that. It's, 20 minutes. Is it easy, Sue?
Oh, it's very easy.
Have you ever been hurt while you're here?
No.
No. Okay. Good.
Not
Good.
yet.
All right. Well, we're talking about Arizona Crisis Team, and it's a serious subject. It's a very serious organization, and what you do is very, very important, especially for the people, for everybody involved. There's so many people that are actually involved when you guys show up. Firefighters,
yes.
EMTs, police agencies,
Yep.
and then the people who are being impacted by what's going on in their home at the moment.
Correct.
All being helped by you and your volunteers.
We hope so.
Yeah. So let's start. Website is ArizonaCrisisTeam.org.
Correct.
Okay. Give us real quick a rundown on kind of, which is difficult to do, I know, but what is the Arizona Crisis Team?
So we are volunteers that are requested by the firefighters, the police officers, or the hospital when there's any type of tragedy, any crisis. And our volunteer, whoever is on duty, goes to spend the first few hours with what we call our clients. So it could be the victim, depending on what it is, or it could be the family members or friends. Usually it's death related that we respond to the crisis, which could be a natural death, it could be a homicide, a suicide, anything like that. But it could also be a structure fire, an assault, medical emergency. So anything where there's somebody in need.
And I remember when this first started, the beauty of it was, and that I thought was really the neat thing about this, is that you have, you've got your firefighters or you got your police officers that have responded to this scene, and they are dealing with what has happened at the scene, not necessarily who's impacted at the scene.
Correct.
And so it's difficult to be putting a fire out, but I've got mom and dad and the kids outside who are traumatized by this, and all my stuff is going up in smoke, and that's where you come into play, because they have a job to do, and they're not really, I guess they're trained probably to do some of this work over here.
And they're good at it, but we want them to concentrate on what their job really is. So we're there to free them up to be in service and get back into service. So do what they need to. So our volunteer can be their advocate, the client's advocate, or they can, they're getting them information. They're taught how to talk to people in a crisis, because that's a tricky thing also, because people are very, they're traumatized, they're sensitive, so you have to kind of know how to speak with them.
How do they get a hold of you, the emergency personnel? When do they decide that it's time for Sue Rutherford or one of the volunteers to show up?
One of our volunteers.
Yeah.
We have our own dispatch system. So we have volunteers that dispatch, and then we're connected with the 911 centers and the hospital. So anytime they want somebody, they just send, well, it's more text. It's not pages really anymore, though we'll still call it a page. And that comes out to our dispatchers, and then our dispatcher contacts the volunteer who's on duty. A lot of the calls we are automatically connected with. So when a fire engine's going to certain type of calls, we're sent at the same time.
Oh, there's not even a request for you to show up. It's
half and half, 50% of the time. Sometimes for certain type of calls, like a multi-engine response, or it's a death or a suicide, things like that, will be sent at the same time, the fire engine is, but we don't go on scene till they are there on scene and they clear it for us. So we never arrive ahead of them. And then other times there's a call that they can be out and then they think, hey, we need ACT. And so they'll request us.
Okay, just depends on the circumstances of what's going on, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And you mentioned there's some training involved. I imagine that's one of the things you wanted to talk about today. What I saw on your website was that you have volunteer events scheduled in the Verde Valley on November 6th.
Correct.
In Cornville?
In Cornville, we're going to start it there. Yep. Okay. So
where at in Cornville?
At the Verde Valley Fire Station.
Okay, on Page Springs Road.
Yes.
Okay.
So the volunteer, they'll need to fill out an application and so on, so they can either call or email me, and my email is sue@azcrisisteam.org, or they can call me at 928-713-6625.
All that information is on the website, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, ArizonaCrisisTeam.org. If you go to that website, you can learn more about the Arizona Crisis Team, how it functions, how it works, what it needs. Maybe it's not something for you to do, but maybe you'd like to donate to something like this so that there are funds available. I imagine gas. I mean, Yavapai County is not tiny, so...
No,
but you do have Verde Valley Group, and you have a Quad City Group, true?
Correct. Okay. We have two chapters within our organization. So we're doing a training in Verde Valley on November 6th. And so the volunteers on this side of the mountain, on the Verde side, they'll respond to Sedona and Verde Valley, and which includes Rimrock, Clarkdale, Cottonwood.
The Verde Valley.
Verde Valley, yeah. So it's not too huge that they have to go to, but I tell you, in the summer, driving through Sedona can be difficult.
It'll take a little extra time to get to where you need to be. Yeah, that's for sure. Is there how fast you have to respond, or? Our
volunteers just have to leave wherever they are within 5 minutes.
Okay.
And we can't guarantee how long it's going to take them to get there. We'll do an estimate. We give what we call an ETA, estimated time of arrival, to the 911 center so that they're aware. But you could have a volunteer who lives in Clarkdale, but they're responding to Sedona. So that's going to take longer than if the volunteer on duty lived in Sedona. It would be quicker.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Our average response time is 30 minutes.
We got like 2 minutes before we have to take our first break. Maybe now's a good time to kind of sit down and talk. Since we are talking about, getting new volunteers, what kind of people are you looking for in terms of this? So they might want to, stay tuned for the rest of the show for sure.
So we look for people who are caring and compassionate. That's a big deal. And we also look for people who can do this type of work. And that could be emotionally, can they handle it? Because you're with people on the worst days of their life. Can they do it emotionally? Can they give to other people? We can train almost anybody, but can they actually do it and want to do it? Some people can do it, but they have no desire to do this type of volunteering.
We've talked about it before in the past when you've been here. That's not something I could do. I think you said your husband tried once too,
my husband.
And it was just not for him too.
No, it didn't go well for him.
Takes a special kind of person. You were a nurse for many, many years, correct?
Yes, yeah.
So it's kind of in you.
Yeah, but it can be in people who aren't nurses.
Oh, sure,
but you're right.
Sure.
We have a lot of retired nurses. We have some retired firefighters, law enforcement, military. So we have a lot of people from different backgrounds. But we also have teachers and realtors and so on.
Caring and compassion is what you said.
That's big.
Those are the two words you use right there. And be able to listen.
Listen, and you have to be diplomatic.
A tough one for me. Being a listener.
No, you're a good listener.
Oh, am I?
Yes.
Oh, all right. I've been told this now. Good. I tell my wife.
Tell your wife that.
I will tell that to my wife as well. Okay. Let's take our first break, okay? ArizonaCrisisTeam.org is the website. ArizonaCrisisTeam.org. Arizona Crisis Team Sue Rutherford in studio today. Stick around, countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle. Get Gettles.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're talking with Arizona Crisis Team's Sue Rutherford about the Arizona Crisis Team. So you've heard the first part of the show. Now, if you're still interested and want to possibly do the volunteer thing, what do we need? Let's start there. And then I'm going to ask you how busy you've been this year with COVID-19, the pandemic going on. But I want the volunteer part to come in because I know we need volunteers. Not everybody's available all the time. So the more you have, the more coverage you can have as well. Volunteering, what do they need to do in order to make sure they come to this November 6th training?
Email me or contact me, and I'll send out an application process to them, because they do have to fill out an application, and we need a copy of their driver's license, things like that. And so they can go through the paperwork process, and then I give them all the details on exactly where to be and so on, because the training will start in Cornville, but that's only part of it, because it goes over several days of training. So we go to the, the 911 center, and we'll be with the funeral homes, and our volunteers have to know a little bit about a lot. So they'll hear from the police how to work on their scene, fire, how to work on their scene, etc. So.
Oh wow, okay, that's a lot to take in. But anyways, that's the idea. That's how you get in touch. Just get in touch with Sue, and then do you want that paperwork back before they show up, or should they come with that in hand? They want to screen all this fire.
Yeah. There are background checks done.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Background check. Okay.
Yeah.
Busy. We mentioned before the show, it's the year of the pandemic, COVID-19 in 2020, and I can't imagine that you've not been busy this year, because we've had people come in and talk about suicide, and that's up in Yavapai County. Deaths are up in Yavapai County.
Yes.
Maybe not COVID-19 related deaths, but we've had quite a few deaths in Yavapai County. So how busy has the Arizona Crisis Team been?
We've been very busy, very busy.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it is. It's too bad. Definitely our suicide and overdose cases are up quite a bit. And I think it's due to COVID. I know I've been on some calls. I remember a client I had, and her daughter died, and it was cancer related, but the mother that I was with, her concern was the daughter would not be called a COVID death, and wanted to make sure, and so there's a lot of concern out there on how they're treated, what's going on, and it's so stressful for people, especially in the beginning. They couldn't take anybody in the hospital with them and couldn't go be with their loved ones. So, the depressed people were really, who have depression, were having a really difficult time.
That alone is just a challenge. But then what about responding to something like this? You had to change your entire protocol on how you respond to something like this when you get called in.
Yeah, that was a challenge. Yeah. Our volunteers, if they're inside where they are inside, they have to wear a mask. We always check in. When we arrive on scene, we check in with the emergency responders. So we're going to ask them, you know, what type of call, what's going on, and we have to wear our mask inside. We have to never go without checking in. Just things like that. Keep distance. No hugging, no huggy, touchy stuff right now. You know, that kind of stuff.
That's got to be pretty tough in your line of work. But then again, I don't know. You know, everyone's different. Let me ask you that one. With COVID-19 going on, I mean, there are some people who are adamant that masks are worthless. They don't need to be worn. There's others that want to see them worn by everybody. So there's that strife in the world as well, right there, just basically down to a simple thing as a mask. How do you get somebody trained to be able to go into a situation like this and be able to deal with the multitude of different kind of people that they could possibly encounter?
With the mask on?
Yeah, with the mask on, or just to, like, you and I had never met before. How am I supposed to, it's one thing to just meet Sue Rutherford as you're walking through the door of the radio station, hey Sue, and joke around with you.
Yes.
But it's a totally different situation. This is a very serious situation that's going on. How do you get somebody trained to the point where they're comfortable walking into any one of these? I mean, it could be a fatal crash. It could be a house fire where somebody died. It could be a COVID-19 related thing. How do you teach someone to be able to walk into these scenarios and just be able to handle just about anything thrown at them?
In what way? You mean on the emotional part of it, or having to deal with the stress of it being COVID?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all of it. Because, like I said, each case, it seems to me it's going to be different for a while until you've run through a few scenarios. Well, this one's similar to what happened back here, so this course of action worked there, but will it work here? And
yes. Well, with COVID, we had several we had about 15% of our volunteers who took a leave because they're in the vulnerable. Everybody had to want to continue during the pandemic, and 85% did. But we're really stressing to them that, you know, we're so used to going up to them and being physical, and now we're like, you have to walk in and you just got to be so much more careful about not approaching people like we used to, and blame it on ACT. I always tell our volunteers, you know, you walk in, you have the mask on, and that can be a put off for some people. You know, the people who don't like the mask, and we have to say, I'm so sorry, but because of the pandemic, because of COVID, we're required, you know, and I say ACT requires you to wear a mask when you're inside. A lot of my calls and some of our other volunteers were outside and we're at a distance. And just because we show up, people are so forgiving of that. They don't care. You know, they're just glad somebody's there with them.
That's really good to hear. Did that answer?
Yeah, they're just glad, because we're always, I'm so sorry, but I'm sorry I can't give you a hug. I'm sorry I can't do this and that, and you know, just during the pandemic. But I think some clients appreciate that because they're scared and they don't want to get it, so they appreciate the distance, and others don't, and they just kind of go up and give you a hug.
So kind of case by case?
It is.
What's your comfort level?
Yes.
And then I have to be respectful of that and stick with it. And then just be as helpful as I can for, like you said, like the first few 3, 4 hours, 5 hours of this tragedy is happening.
Yes.
You're kind of there just to help out if you're needed.
Yep. I did have one woman, I was with her about a month ago, and her, I think he was 15, and he had died by suicide. And I went in her house, and it was chaotic in there, and there was a lot going on, and a lot of law enforcement and so on. And she turned to me at one point out of the blue, because I had walked in, so, you know, I must wear a mask, and she turned to me out of the blue and said, "Thank you for wearing a mask." You know, because I tell our volunteers, you don't know how your client feels about masks, so you need to go in with it, because they may be upset if you don't come in with one. Sure. You know, so please be, on the...
Better safe than sorry, I guess, when it comes to that right now, huh?
Yeah.
So, okay, so you're not exempt from the challenges that COVID-19 has presented itself, no? No, look at that.
Are any of us, no.
Okay, Sue Rutherford, she has a training for Arizona Crisis Team coming up in Cornville, November 6th. It's just around the corner. And that's just the start of the training. So visit the website, ArizonaCrisisTeam.org. Go to that website and find out more information. We have to take a quick break. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle. Get Gettles.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
So I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a couple minutes left in the program, so we want to kind of recap everything. If you're compassionate, a good listener, things I'm not very good at, you say I am, but I don't know about that. But those are a couple of things you definitely need to do. Yes. How often do if I'm going to be a volunteer, how often am I on call for? And if I say I'm going to be on call for, say, today, halfway through the day, can I say, ooh, I can't be on call anymore?
Oh, no, that does not work well at all. Okay. Because we're looking for people also who are responsible and dependable.
Stable.
We respond 100% of the time. We can't have a volunteer that goes, I had lunch plans. That doesn't work. Now people get sick or something happens, and then we all cover for each other. We'll fill in. Okay. So it goes back, volunteers do 3 12-hour shifts a month, and they pick their shifts. So we have day shifts, we have night shifts, and so they just move around with what works, and it tends to work for most people.
Okay, so no real problems on the year. I mean, you've been doing this for how many years now?
20. I've been, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it'd been that long.
Yeah.
Okay, so 20 years. Okay, so, and you've not had any major issues
with me,
with anything, with the whole thing? No.
Oh no, we always have the schedule's always covered. We always have volunteers go out.
But you can't be one of those volunteers that say, "Well, I can help you today. I'm supposed to be on today for 12 hours, but I got to take it." Yeah, like you said.
No, but we also, with that being said, we do a lot of the volunteers trade shifts a lot.
Sure.
That's very common. Like, hey, something came up for me on Monday. Can I, will you, somebody trade a shift? That happens all the time.
There's some flexibility.
So very flexible.
Okay.
But at the same time, if you're coming on and you decided, I can't do it. Now, with that also being said, we all live a normal life as we're going. I go to the movies. Well, sometimes, at times I'll go to the movies. I can go grocery shopping. I can do whatever. I just have to leave wherever I am within 5 minutes.
Yeah, you don't sit around the house all day waiting for the phone to ring.
I don't. Some volunteers do, but I don't.
Okay.
No, and I mean, I remember going to Harkins in Sedona once, and tried the movie 3 times. I keep my ticket with me, and as I'm running out, if a call comes out, I'll say, hey, I have an emergency, and they'll let me come back. I think I restarted a movie 3 times. I had 3 calls one day, and I was like, oh, I'll try this movie again. Oh, I got back.
Get out of here, lady. We're not suckers.
Yeah, they're like...
Yeah, you theater jumper. We're out of time.
Okay.
All right, Arizona Crisis Team, Sue Rutherford. Again, the website for all this information is ArizonaCrisisTeam.org. ArizonaCrisisTeam.org. Sue, good to see you.
Thank you.
And do like she does. Just give me a call or send me an email, and we'll get you on the air. We'll do a show with you, just like we did today. So that's today's Countywide. Thank you, as always, for watching, listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.